Howdy, hey, peoples, viewers, chat. It just seems like I just can't get enough of Daytona, haven't we? Tonight's BPNR is done for. Now it's iFAR's turn here at the Daytona International Speedway for their most expensive night in America, the all-infamous Daytona 250. We got quite a big field for tonight. It's going to be a long race, and it should be exciting. I would show points, but because it's the first race, I instead turned to the Season 16 schedule whilst the field is qualifying. What you're viewing now is the first race of the season, Daytona, with next Saturday being the Daytona Road Course layout. It'll be interesting for the second round of the season. Round 3 will be at Atlanta, with round 4 at Lucas Oil Raceway Park, the first short track of the season. Round 5 will be at Homestead, with round 6 at Pocono. Round 7 Charlotte, Echo Park, and round 8. To clarify, Atlanta and Echo Park are technically two different versions. Atlanta being the old surface down intermediate that we all loved, and then Echo Park is the modern day nomenclature that provides us with super speedway action. But continuing along, round 9 is at I-70. I've driven there before, it was quite fun. And then round 10 will be at Darlington. And you are seeing this right. iFAR, for the first time in their history, has implemented a chase system, with 10 rounds being the regular season. And then the final 5 rounds of Texas, New Hampshire, Talladega, Iowa, and Chicagoland being the chase races to crown our champion. And that should be quite a fun battle to watch all season long. Now, Zach Armstrong was supposed to stream, but he got caught up in his real life duties, so. And because it is a big race for iFAR, I might as well just cover it. Qualifying should end soon. Yep, we got 5 seconds left, so it'd actually be Jelani Howell on pole with Noah Dingenhart in second at quite a front row, separated by 1/1000th of a second. And appears to be his first career iFAR pole at that, so that's a way to show fear into this field. Then it is Harry Crawford and Joshua Clements in row 2, William Viola and Stephen Gibson in row 3. Nicholas Bedimlik and Landon Lau occupy row 4, with Tyler Aziz and Jolene Sims in row 5. Then it is Cole Rodriguez and Daniel Rivera in row 6, with Joseph Fajardo and Roman Gonzalez in row 7. 15th and 16th are Skylar Deegan and Daniel Rodriguez. Excuse me. Row 9 has Noel Nichols and Dylan Negron, with Austin Barnett and Sierra Cooper just behind them. London Lonnebeck with 21st and Trevor Davis 22nd. Thomas Johnson and William Gregory will inherit row 12. Friesen Rodriguez and John Cookies in row 13. Daniel Silla and Joe Shmuda in the 14th row. And was also the last driver to set a lap time. Blaine Davis, Thomas Troxel, Jack Lazar, Gina Benoni, and Ryan Scarrett have opted not to qualify, but thankfully we did not breach the 36 car field limit set for tonight. So while happy hour is currently underway, take a quick gander on the field. I did not have Landon Lau's car. Must be using his season 15 variant. Big changes coming up. William Viola, who I believe won at least one race last season, maybe even the season before, Well, besides that, they're now at Millennium Cup Racing, which is my team, but I choose not to brag about it too much. Harry Crawford and his teammate just behind him working together during the final minutes of preparation before the iFAR 250. Thomas Troxel in the 00, I believe that's the norm. You saw him in the one car last night. Tyler Aziz is running a part-time schedule this season, so you won't see him at every track. Blaine Davis has returned to the track after nearly winning it in the season 14 second race, that being he was second place before he took most of the field out coming to the white flag. Daniel Rodriguez in the 20 monster car, you see him pretty much everywhere with that car. Thomas Johnson, the 94, got quite a bit of new faces. Austin Barnett has inherited my number, it seems like, so and still sporting a Ford now, being sponsored with Wabash. If I can read from up here. Yep, that's what it is. Joe Schmuda, new driver for this season, rookie driver. Steven Gibson has been in a hot seat with winning the Eastern States Stock Car Series Daytona 500 special event a few weeks ago, and coming just close last night in BPNR's Daytona 150, just missing out on winning against Kirsten Bell. So he is definitely in a hot seat for tonight. Daytona has just been his plaything as of recent. Rivera in the 15 AT&T car, just usual stuff. Still don't hear anything about Happy Hour. I don't know if Clements is AFK. Usually it'll be Alexander Gonzalez Green hosting our proceedings, but he is not available for tonight. So second in command, Joshua Clements will be the primary official for tonight. Jolene Sims in her usual ride. She's been swapping between Ford and Chevy for most of these things, and even Dodge if that's available. Doing that grunt, just sitting there. And Happy Hour has begun, so where's that? Landon Lonabeck at 44 per usual, and trying to Frieza Rodriguez returns with the 01, car, if that's how you pronounce the acronym. Now, what is different between a race like this, where you have a lot of expectations compared to any other iFAR race of the season? If you saw the schedule, there are 3 races selected, including tonight's, where it is 50% distance. So for tonight, it'll be 100 laps, which is half the distance of the real-life Daytona 500. And that would mean a lot of pit stops when in the usual online settings of 2x rare. Hence why this is instead a 1x race, so a lot less pit stops. I presume 2 pit stops is needed for a full completion of this race, assuming it goes green all the way. And that's mostly about it in terms of what's different from here compared to a usual iFAR event. And 3 of them, like I mentioned, Daytona, which is tonight, Charlotte, which is going to be a doozy for them. Going to be 200 laps, if that's correct. 200 laps at Charlotte, of all places. That's going to be a doozy. And Talladega will be 94 laps. That will be during the chase. But like I mentioned with Steven Gibson winning that Daytona 500 special event and the Eastern State Stock Car Series, That was a full distance race, not using the CTS physics nor the same track model, but Gibson has proven that he can keep his mentality during the nearly 3-hour race that occurred that night and is able to prevail. That final lap rank may have something to do with it, but he still got away first and was able to cross the line first. So caution rules, as being explained in the back of my ear, it is 2 cars from one crash, a spin that may impede the racing, or a flip. It'll be a field frozen method, and it will be choose cone, which should be in the backstretch. We'll make our way towards it using free cam. I'm going to take a bit. I don't think there is a choose cone actually. I think it's just that white line. Oh no, there is. It's right here just before it. Similar spot than what I did with the BPNR model. Trying to set this up. And unlike BPNR, there is a point of no return, so we don't have to keep wasting time with the numerous caution flags. And yeah, less than a minute until we get going. So 20, let me count actually. So 33 cars, if my math is correct. It's just me and AGG who will not be participating. So what should you be doing while at Daytona? Well, for the early part, just keep it cool. You got 100 laps ahead of you, and it is 1x square, so that would mean uh roughly 40 laps just staying in line before your pit stops. It's just going to be boring, but if you're trying to make aggressive moves too early, uh, and you can either benefit by having the track position or falter by causing a big wreck. And when you still, and again, if you have 100 laps ahead of you, that's just something you shouldn't really be doing. And speaking of pit stops, you gotta execute them right. You gotta get into pit lane as fast as you can. You gotta get into pit stops and hope there is no mistake. Yeah, you gotta get out of the pits. You gotta have buddies with you. That's why pitting by yourself is such a detriment. Even if you get the right strategy, if you don't have buddies with you, it's going to cost you. So we got at least two of them for this 100 lap race that these drivers will have to do. We could expect more if cautions breed cautions, and I would expect most of these drivers to top off with fuel during those caution periods. And it is finally race time.
Drivers, to your car.
Give me a minute. Okay. I was gonna have a dedicated ticker for iFAR, but I didn't have any creative ideas. I got the call to broadcast this a little bit later than what I ideally like, so they just get the standard IndyCar ticker for the time being. So 33 cars ahead or behind the base car rather. 100 laps ahead of them. This is this is the final moments of pre-race for the Daytona event here on iFAR. For the iFAR 250, 100 laps are ahead of us. This is a CTS race, so that means these drivers are utilizing physics meant for the truck series, as if they were in 2003. Got 2 pit stops at very minimum, and points of no return is in effect in this league. That will be at 4 laps to go. You just mere seconds away. Pace car will head in. July Owl will lead the field to green, and iFAR is back. The outside lane already a bit more unified as Noah Dagenhart in the 5 car is already tucked in, and Jelani blinked and killed the field. Well, there's going to be a reset. I'm gonna take a quick look at that before the session resets. Just a simple Jelani blink and just got turned off of Harry Crawford, unfortunately. Jelani was known as the terrorist at the play tracks, and that has been proven true tonight. So we shall try this one more time.
Drivers, to your cars.
So it is a BBMC track, so connection issues, aka warping, could definitely play a factor here, and is likely going to happen as we saw with Jelani Howell, our pole sitter. Got 15 seconds until engines fire. Everyone should be on the grid, and I already bailed off the track. I think it's just EGG who is currently not on the computer, but has provided his server for us to use tonight.
Start your engines!
Going to try this again, as most of the back half of the grid didn't get going, that being Joseph Fajardo. I don't know what happened to him, but hopefully it's just a temporary issue and not something that will impact this race before the green flag has even come out. We try once more. Pace car will dive into the pits. Jelani Howell and Noah Dagenhart, 2x2. We are green. iFAR is back for 16 seasons. Inside got a much better jump. Harry Crawford is already on the rear bumper of Jelani Howell, with William Viola also in tow. There's a bit of a gap between him and Nicholas Bedimlik in the number 40 car. And we already got a car peeling up that is, I believe, Noelle Nichols in the Exalta Toyota. She will fall towards the back. I don't blame people who did that early on, because with a field this big, a big field cleaning wreck is bound to happen. Into the triumphal, lap 1 shall be completed under green, and that would be a Noah Dagenhart's lap led. One down, 99 to go. Well, a bit of a wobble from Leland's Land Allow in the 81 car. Again, I do not have his car file, but he's going to get shoveled down line, and just that's something that you should be doing early on with the, I don't want to say aggressive pushes, but just pushes that are just really risky. So Land Allow will drop back to the mid pack as I saw contact back there actually, and that is Lane Davis going around, and that will trigger a multi-car crash. Sierra Cooper is heading towards the inside wall. Caution has been called. To much in my dismay, they didn't get much further compared to the BPNR LCQ. So let's take a look what happened. The Sierra Crew is slipping back and gets hits. And well, that was John Cookies who hits the 68 car. Another driver I do not have the car file for, unfortunately. Gonna take a bit before they get back to the pits. Let me fix this up real quick. As we'll head on board with Blaine Davis. Yeah, just the 96 lines up and hits the 68 who was already falling back. This is one of the easiest rookie mistakes you can do, especially at these super speedways. iFAR is held to a higher standard compared to most other leagues, and I don't know what Land Allow's doing in the grass. See what happened there. Ooh, just a checkup. I don't think they were told what the pace speed was and just closed up too quickly. That's why you always gotta give large enough gaps in between you and the car ahead, so that way, if you do need to avoid an accident, you have that space to do so. But the pace speed is 60 miles per hour, 60. Pit lane is open. We got a few takers being led by Austin Barnett. Yeah, it looks to be just a fuel-only stop. We only got 2 laps under our belts, but 2 laps can be proven a huge difference, especially if more yellows were to come out. Looks like Barnett took tires on its stop, so he won't be getting out the pits first. Instead, it'll be led by Negron, followed by London Beck, Troxel, Dana Rodriguez, and Brian Scarrett. And no juice cone this time around, so they'll take an additional pace lap. Currently under the first caution of the iFAR 250, we are on lap 4 of 100. They're currently being led by pole sitter Jelani Howell, then it is Harry Crawford with William Viola, Noah Dagenhart, and Joshua Clements completing your top 5. We will look again at what happened to the 2 cars to bring out this caution flag. Starting turn 3 with Sierra Cooper. Just not getting the drive. It looked like they blipped the throttle a little bit, looking at their telemetry, and just get door slammed by the 96, the rookie driver of John Cookies. And that sends them into a spin, and the 30 of Blaine Davis, nowhere really he could have done. 2-car crash, which is viable for a caution here in iFAR. And Joe Shmuda is perpendicular parking. That's not how pit stops work. Even in NR, you can't be angled too far sideways, otherwise the pit crew will not service you. So most of the field has opted to pit again in this second time around, but Jelani Howell will hold firm at the top. So choose cone this time. The leaders will get there eventually, but a bit more stricter compared to BPNR. You cannot have any part of the tire hit the out the cone nor the outline. So each driver's gotta be really careful. Otherwise they will land themselves a post-race penalty. And the 39 Joseph Fajardo, I believe, did just that. That's if he doesn't surrender the position now, he's gonna have to face a post-race penalty. And from what I remember, it is a lap penalty, and the 6-day also. Excuse me. Sierra Cooper also hit the cone, but they are already at the back. Thomas, or not Thomas, Tyler Aziz has fallen out and will rejoin the race. Jelani Howell takes the outside lane. He has control of the field, and we are back underway. We're hearing Jelani Howell too big of a jump there. He's going to face the consequences by steamrolling Noah Degenhardt or Harry Crawford if they can get to them. But it appears to me Noah Degenhardt will hold firm on being stationary behind the 19 car. 5 laps complete so far. We have just gotten back green. And they're currently filing themselves in. Just pick a lane and stick to it for the time being. And we'll have to wait at least 35 laps before pit stops shall emerge. But the inside lane actually gets a better run. It is Harry Crawford who takes the lead with his teammate William Viola pushing him along with Nicholas Bedimlik. Steven Gibson already on the move. He got pretty good luck on his side in terms of Daytona races in NR2003, and he has already found himself 4th place, just tucked in behind the top 3. Our pole sitter Jelani Howell also in the mix and still within the top 5 after losing the lead. Jolene Sims is trying to make the outside work, that being Noah Degenhardt who is pushing her, but Degenhardt is going to flock down to the bottom, and so will the top 3 of that lane. So now it is up to Skylar Deegan, another rookie driver in iFAR, who will... Never mind. They're all going to flock down to the bottom, it seems. So that leaves Trevor Davis to hopefully make something work on the outside. There is no gap for him to make it work. To slot in, sorry. But it seems as soon as I say that they will try something, Joshua Clemens, well known for being an experimenter, the one who initiates the charges to try to do something different. And it's certainly working for him well so far. He's picked up Jolene Sims, Noah Degenhardt, and Cole Rodriguez. They all will flock around the outside with him. Gotta get hydrated because about to hit lap 10 of the race, and I still got 90 laps to do, as well as the post-race show. Currently single file amongst the top 5, but it is currently side by side for 6th between Rivera on the inside and Joshua Clements on the outside. And Joseph Fajardo, we do know that he hit the choose cone during that caution period and did not surrender the position, so I fear that while he's looking comfy in the top 10 as he has now decided to take lead charge of the outside lane, I don't suspect his position will matter come penalty day if AGG ever decides to do them. Near contact, as also the 39 is warping, so that might hinder things. Clements, well experienced in the NR community, is opting not to push him. Trevor Davis sitting comfy and currently 15s as scoring precise for the time being. And as Tyler Aziz on the top lane, remember his game crashed during the caution period just before the restart, so he's going to fall to the back end. He will be one lap down and will be given lead lap come the next caution period. Right now the outside is slipping back. They have now fallen out of the top 10. It's not always about numbers. Well, it is 4 to almost 30 cars in comparisons to the two lanes. It's also about who you're working with, and right now Clements can't really push to 39, not because he doesn't want to for competition's sake, but it's just a fear of Joseph Fajardo warping that may trigger a wreck if Clements decides to push him, so best advised not to, as now he will abandon the 39 car to flank to the inside, much like everyone else. At 12 laps completed in the iFAR 250, we got Harry Crawford and William Viola, your two leaders, with Nicholas Bedimlik, Stephen Gibson, and Jelani Howell running out your top 5 as caution has been called right towards the back. And that involves Gino Benoni. So second caution of the night here at the Daytona International Speedway. Take a ponder as to what happened here. Oh, Netco collision from the 39. I mentioned that he was warping quite a bit, and unfortunately, Gino Benoni was just a victim to it. So already 2 cautions in the first few laps. On board with Blaine Davis again for some reason. He was able to avoid the wreck this time, but at the cost of his well-known partner. If this saves anyone, it is going to be Tyler Aziz. His game crashed during the prior caution period and will be back on the lead lap. Excuse me. Pit lane should be open this time round. I suspect everyone should pit. Got at most 15 or 12 laps rather on the field load if you haven't pitted yet, but probably around 10 laps for those who did, and it looks to be everyone is going to come down the pits this time around. It's going to be a messy pit lane. I did look back at the BPNR race that took place last night, and pit lane was one of the many places where wrecks could occur. So far, no one has wrecked, but it looks to be Harry Crawford who wins up pit lane. I believe that was Viola second ahead of Bedimlik. Well, most of the field took field. There are a good chunk of cars who have opted for tires. Uh, there's a plan to go green this time round. Right now, it is Daniel Rodriguez and Joseph Fajardo currently doing damage repair, or maybe in D-Doc's case, he could be AFK. Just have to wait and see. And D-Dog is rolling, so yep, choose confirmed at this time. And teammates line up on the bottom. And majority want to take the inside lane. The 12 and 5 have hit the choose cone. I hate to be that person to out the drivers for penalties, but as an admin in DS survey, I kind of just have to. It's just a bit nitpicking. Perhaps if AGG is watching, he can take a more relaxed approach, as I'll just call it the penalties. And his green flag called by Harry Crawford, back underway. 15 laps have been completed. Now, the 96 has been warned for chatting during the quiet zone. You don't hear the team speak on your run because I don't have anyone in the booth this time around, but in this league, there is a quiet zone control method for the restarts. We do not use the pace cards. So if you hear quiet zone by the admins, that means you cannot type any NR2003 chats at all. And when the control mark has been called, it is up to the leader to call the green flag. So in NR, when you're driving, you get like roughly 5 seconds to see the message a driver has put in before the chat message disappears or moves on to the next message. So with that in mind, the chat clock can become an issue during resets, especially when the leader has to call the green flag. So that 96, as a rookie, just needs to know that when a quiet zone is called, that means he can't type in chat at all until the leader has called the green flag. So, focusing towards the front, Bedimlik is leading the outside charge with Toyota buddy Steven Gibson and a Ford of Cole Rodriguez. It's Skylar Deegan in the 13. Usually that's a Cameron Jameson number, but as of recent, as I've noticed, he's been scaling back on his NR schedule, likely busy with life, so it was Sebastian Amaya who took over the 13 and a few other leagues. But it looks to be a Skylar Deegan. It'll be their turn to occupy the 13 in iFAR. Outside lane currently diminishing as we speak about it. Currently only 5 cars within striking distance of the lead, but Jolene Sims currently last in line, and it is the 31 of William Gregory, I'm pretty sure. Yes, it is. They're a few ways back, and with everyone else on the inside lane. That's just going to eventually spell disaster, as William Gregory has opted to play his parts in the train that is the inside lane around the Daytona International Speedway. Oh, but Dimlick, maybe a mid-corner bump driver just wants to get out of line, but that will flock him towards the back if he can't find a spot. And Steven Gibson didn't want to lead the outside charge anymore, but it's only 4 cars, so he's going to slot himself 6th place. "20 laps in the books. It is Harry Crawford who has led all but 1 lap so far, all but 4 laps so far. He took the lead on the second restart after the first caution period, with William Viola, his teammate, in second. July Howell, our pole sitter, found his way back to 3rd place. Skylar Deegan in 4th place. Landon Laudenbach in 5th, with Stephen Gibson 6th. Dino Rivera 7th. Reason Rodriguez 8th. Landon Lau P9, and Blaine Davis running out your top 10, as they are still side by side for 11th. The outside line may have some more momentum now there are a few more cars in the works, with Cole Rodriguez trying to make something happen with Joshua Clements and Jolene Sims in tow. And Clements has opted for the inside, so any momentum the outside lane had is dead. There's only 2 cars within the middle of that pack. Gotta wait further back to find Thomas Johnson, pushing Joe Shmuda. Noah Degenhardt, outside pole sitter, is in a bag. He did take tires on the most recent stop under caution, and gonna just sit comfy towards the back. It seems like it doesn't feel any pressure of needing to move up the grid right now. Currently ahead of the injured Gino Bononi after a warp wreck with the 39 of Joseph Fajardo. Only 1 car left on the outside, that is Landon Lyle, who's going to find a spot, and he's gonna just play train here. So you're thinking, oh, they should be side by side right now. Well, we still got 3/4 of the race to go. We're about to hit lap 25 out of 100. You could make your way towards the front, but when you have 2 pit stops still at your disposal to move up the grid and flesh out the field a bit more, it's just not worth the risk, I don't believe. So for the moment, being side by side, even 3x3 is just asking for a wreck, especially when you got cars that are warping, like Trevor Davis, for example. I don't want to pick on him, but he's the only car I've seen that's just been warping badly, likely due to the track model, but the issue is still, he is one of those drivers, as well as Joseph Fajardo, who may cause a wreck simply by warping, and if people are side by side with them, it's going to cause a crash. So Trevor Davis currently In 11th position, there is a lap car up ahead as Lyle peeks out line, but unable to make a move due to him being under the double yellow line. It is Joseph Fajardo who's getting lapped now, who caused the crash in the second caution of the night, the most recent one, back on lap 13. Frieza Rodriguez trying something, but just these drivers are wanting to make moves. If you're not in the same VC as them, you're gonna have to try other methods, and typing while driving isn't going to necessarily be your best partner, but um, the way of communication during the play races is just that gotta ask people in chat, much like, oh, there's a wreck. It involves Thomas Johnson and Joe Shimoda, our third caution of the night, in the iFAR 250. Just past the quarterway mark, currently lap 27 of 100. So we shall ponder what happens to these two down the backstretch. Oh, I think the 39 was trying to get in line, and man, the 94 Thomas Johnson with a barrel wall down the backstretch. I think we'll get a better idea if we go on board with him. But we're also going to experience a nasty ride of that 94 machine. Yeah, but as I suspected, sorry, if I can speak correctly, the 39, who is a lapped car, tries to get in line, and Noelle Nichols was trying to, but I don't think the 94 got that memo and just runs her over. And that would mean he inadvertently wrecked himself to trigger the caution. So Lucky Dog is Joseph Fajardo, who indirectly caused a wreck, so he's at fault for 1.5 cautions now. Ooh, split decision towards the front. Top 3 stay out, but excuse me, damn. 5th place, Landon Lonenbach leads the field to the pit stops. More splash and dashes, gotta be careful of who gets in and who doesn't. Lonenbach wins off with Gibson second. Much like last time, Joshua Clements calling the field to proceed with the choose cone this time round if the field is able to catch back up in time, which I believe they should. Let's see, while the choose cone is commencing, we've only had one retirement this race, that being the 68 of Sierra Cooper, who was involved in the first crash of the night after contact with John Cookies, the rookie driver in the 96 car, taking Blaine Davis with him. So now we only need one pit stop at least for most of these drivers who opted to pit. And look at this. Sorry. If I can get my buttons correct. Landon Lineback challenging for the lead as we back underway at Daytona. Harry Crawford still your leader. And neither lane is packed together right now, but going to be settled in coming into turn 2 and down the backstretch. But Landon Lineback, he just pitted and found himself second alongside Harry Crawford. That's going to be huge if this goes green for a long while to have green flag pit stops. We haven't had those yet, unfortunately. Was going to be warping from the 51 of Steven Gibson. But no wreck this time around. Maybe, perhaps because Thomas Troxel isn't beside him, but